Welcome to this explainer. If you're gearing up to tackle Part 2 of the CMA exam, you are in the exact right place. Think of this as your personal compass. Before you plunge into heavy textbooks and complex formulas, we're going to set our coordinates so you know exactly where you're heading, why it matters, and how to conquer this entire journey with confidence. Here is our MAPS legend for today. We'll start by establishing the big picture, map out your chapter roadmap, discuss exam relevance, validate common challenges, pack your gear with effective study strategies, and finally, get you started on your journey.
Section 1. Welcome to the big picture, establishing base camp.
Okay, let's dive into this. Before we even worry about the how, we really need to establish the why. Look, looking at a list of 15 dense chapters can absolutely trigger a sense of overwhelm. If you're feeling kind of confused right now about how all these completely different topics connect, from liquidity ratios to corporate ethics, I want to normalize that for you right here, right now. It is a massive amount of ground to cover. But the beauty of it? These 15 chapters actually share one singular, unifying goal. They are literally designed to transform you into a strategic financial leader. And that is the big picture we've got to keep in mind so we can actually see the forest through the trees. You see, a strategic financial leader doesn't just calculate numbers in a vacuum. They analyze historical data to figure out a company's real health. They make vital corporate finance decisions about raising capital. They evaluate future investments, manage enterprise risk, and through it all, they uphold a rigorous standard of professional ethics. Every single chapter we're going to cover builds a completely different muscle needed for that exact role. This perfectly illustrates the core theme connecting all these chapters. It's a constant balancing act. On one side, you have your resources, your current and non-current assets. On the other side, your capital structure, basically how you actually finance those assets through debt and equity. Virtually every concept you study in Part 2 comes right back to keeping this scale balanced. It's all about managing risk versus return, and making absolutely sure the business has the liquidity to operate today and the solvency to thrive tomorrow.
Section 2. Your chapter-by-chapter roadmap, the learning flow.
So, we're going to chunk these 15 chapters into logical phases so your understanding builds naturally, step by step. Our first phase focuses on looking backward at financial statement analysis. In these first 3 weeks, you'll be assessing a company's past health and efficiency. You're going to learn to calculate if a company can actually pay its short-term bills using liquidity ratios, like the current and quick ratios. You'll evaluate long-term solvency and measure profitability through tools like return on assets and return on equity.
From there, the flow smoothly transitions right into corporate finance. Here, the focus totally shifts to raising capital and managing day-to-day operations. You'll explore different types of securities like bonds and stocks, really understand how financial markets operate, calculate the optimal cost of capital, and manage working capital to make sure operations run seamlessly. Basically, it's all about how the business actually funds itself.
Next up, we pivot to forward-looking decision analysis. This phase highlights a major shift toward calculating risks and picking future investments. You'll dive deep into cost-volume profit analysis, figure out break-even points, evaluate whether to keep or drop business segments using marginal analysis, and use discounted cash flows to rank capital investment projects. You are literally learning how to decide the entire future direction of the firm.
And we conclude our roadmap with the final summit, ethics. Look, all the financial analysis in the world is completely useless if it isn't grounded in integrity. You will learn the non-negotiable professional and corporate ethical frameworks, like the CMA Statement of Ethical Professional Practice and anti-bribery laws. These are the rules that govern all business decisions.
Section 3. Navigating exam relevance, understanding the terrain.
Now that we know the route, let's shift focus to how this knowledge actually translates into passing the exam. Notice the stark contrast here. Yes, for sure, you need some rote memorization to know the formulas. For instance, you absolutely need to know the DuPont model components. But just memorizing the formula, that isn't going to be enough. The exam actually tests professional judgment. They'll ask you to apply the DuPont model to evaluate a company's asset management efficiency and then recommend actions based on a realistic, messy business scenario.
So, how exactly will you be tested? Well, you're going to face a dual-natured beast, multiple choice questions and essays. And a critical skill across both of these is identifying relevant information. For example, when you study marginal analysis, a typical exam question won't just hand you a neatly labeled list of relevant costs. No way. It's going to give you a complex scenario, and you have to apply your judgment to identify the avoidable costs versus the unavoidable ones, just to make a recommendation on dropping or adding a business segment.
Section 4. Overcoming common challenges. Validating the struggle. Addressing that intimidating terrain brings us to a really important pit stop. It is completely 100% normal to feel intimidated by the sheer volume and complexity of this material. Seriously, if you're looking at these 15 chapters right now and feeling a bit lost, take a deep breath. You are in exactly the right place. Every single successful CMA candidate stood right where you are standing today.
You are going to face some very specific hurdles, and I want to list them out right now so they don't surprise you later. You will wrestle with remembering complex formulas. You'll get tricked by irrelevant costs hidden inside word problems. You're definitely going to feel the time crunch during long capital budgeting calculations. And you'll have to stretch your brain to connect isolated concepts, like, say, linking working capital policies to long-term risk management, especially when you hit those essay scenarios.
Which brings us to Section 5, Effective Study Strategies, Packing Your Gear.
To safely navigate this terrain, we need to pack your gear with the right study strategies. So the absolute crucial point is this success tip. Master the strategy before the details. Your 4-step strategy for every single chapter should look like this. First, see the big picture. What is this chapter actually trying to teach me about business? Second, study the concepts carefully. Third, connect those ideas to the other chapters. And fourth, practice relentlessly with exam-style questions. To help lock in these really complex concepts, you need actionable memory tactics. Don't just passively read the text. Build mind maps to visualize how different types of leverage impact risk. Try connecting formulas to real-world companies you actually follow. Build flashcards for those key financial ratios so your recall becomes automatic. And use spaced repetition, meaning revisit older chapters while you're studying the new ones. That ensures your brain actually holds on to those enterprise risk frameworks while you're busy learning about corporate restructuring. And finally, Section 6, Starting Your Journey, Taking the First Step. All right, we've mapped the route, we've packed the gear, and we know exactly what's coming. Now it's time for that final motivational push. Remember, you do not climb a mountain in one giant leap. Step by step, the mountain becomes a molehill. Consistent, structured study will turn this overwhelming 15-chapter curriculum into entirely manageable, bite-sized pieces. If you apply the strategies we've talked about, focus on real understanding over just rote memorization, and keep the big picture in mind, you will absolutely conquer this material.
Keep this explainer handy to realign your compass whenever you feel a bit lost in the weeds. But ultimately, I want you to ask yourself this. The business world is incredibly volatile right now. So, are you prepared to be the leader who navigates the chaos, balances the risks, and upholds the ethics? The tools to become that exact leader are waiting for you in these 15 chapters. Let's open Chapter 1 and start building that expertise today.